Welcome. I'll be covering four different ways today to help you feel spritzy, have the zest for life, and not need any caffeine to do it. So if you feel like you're relying on coffee just that little bit too much, then these will help you out. Welcome back to my channel. This is a place where we explore different ways to up-level your energy naturally, and that way you can feel more productive, vibrant, and courageous. Let's go. Personally, have never really been well with coffee. My body just kind of 2 days later crashes. I like it occasionally in an espresso martini, but it's not a regular thing. I need to figure out different ways to keep my energy sustained, especially as a new mum now, not getting like the regular 8-hour sleep that they recommend. This has really helped me out. Tip number 1 that I do is to have a cold shower. I know, you didn't want to hear it. I know. You're gonna be like, but why? Why do you do this? And look, it is a bit crazy. Some mornings I'm like, oh my God, why do I do this? But it teaches you to do hard things. Firstly, you're not waiting for the motivation to have a cold shower. You just fucking crank it into the cold spit and then you get in the shower. Plus it's quicker. As a mum, I have like less than a minute to have a shower. I jump in as my toddler's out there cruising around the house destructively. I need to wash and get the F out. So I don't have time to wait for the water to heat up. That's one point. But there are actually benefits to putting cold water onto your body. So I really just do it quickly, like I said. And there are a whole bunch of studies that are like, oh yes, if you're in cold water for like 20 minutes, no, not that long. Depends on the temperature. There's different ones. You can be longer in it or like 3 minutes, 15 degrees or under, I believe. We did the ice baths and that's what it was then. And that's Celsius degrees, to be clear. So there are benefits on that. But today I'm just talking to you, about cold showers because it's easy, it's doable on a daily basis. You don't have to do it super long and you still get benefits out of it. The first benefit of this habit, I literally do it for like 30 seconds. I'm like, soap, 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 soap. You breathe slowly as well. You don't hyperventilate, you go. So that way you're also training your body because it gets under shock. When it gets the cold water hit, it goes under a shock. Then you're training your body to be at ease and calm in the state of shock. So that's firstly a really good training to have. And then secondly, like I said earlier, you are doing hard things and you're okay with that. Builds your courage muscle. But the actual physiology benefits is that the blood flow gets triggered. So because your body is trying to keep the body temperature up as the cold water hits it, as a result of it, then the blood flow starts to flow quicker through your body and that's your circulation. So then you're getting fresh oxygenated blood cells throughout your body and that makes you feel more alert and awake. Your immunity is boosted to common colds. People who switch to cold showers for 30, 60 or 90 seconds, so it doesn't have to be that long for this benefit, less sick 29% of the time. So it's not a huge amount, but still, because the shock of the cold water can stimulate the blood cells and fight off the infection because you have those freshly oxygenated and stimulated blood cells flowing through your body. Flow is good. Energy to flow in every part of life is good. Whenever it's stagnant and stale, that's when things become a problem. And then combat of depression. So there isn't much study on this, but I just want to say for my personal sake, not that I've been depressed, but I've definitely been in a state of lethargic feeling and what do they call it? Languishing. So like when you're not feeling life is super great and like spitzy, but you're also kind of like not super depressed, but it's that middleman stage where you could slip into depression, or if you make some good changes, you can get back up and feel better. But 40% of people are like languishing because they're kind of like settling in this okay space. It's like, I guess this is what life is like. It can be better. It can be better. Push yourself. You can do it. So cold showers, my point here, really helped me get out of a rut, really helped me build that courage muscle to then go do other things in life, not just have a bloody cold shower every morning. It helps you build that strength inside you because you know you can and you will, and because it's something I set out to do, and then when I do it, that is a confidence boost. Because if you hold a promise to yourself, even if it's the tiniest thing daily, you are ticking it off and you're going, yes, see, I do the things I say I do. And yes, I can do them. And you are like voting for yourself. The moment you start to slip away and go, oh, look, I said I'd go for a run, or I said I'd do a cold shower, but you don't. And then you don't do the cleanup you said you'd do. And then you don't meet a person that you said you'd do. And then you don't do that extra call. The things that you set out for yourself, you're only letting yourself down. Of course, you're maybe letting others down too, but that doesn't even matter. This is just about you and your relationship with yourself. So do the goddamn thing. And then be more confident. Yeah, so let's have a cold shower. You thought I was going to get naked. Not today, Sunday. For tip number 2, I wanted to take you into my bedroom because it's the lighting while you sleep. So the moment I wake up, I try to open all the blinds. I mean, I always do. Open the blinds, maybe get out for a walk, or just even go outside, let the dog pee, and soak in some sunlight. Because now, Huberman talks about this, and you probably have seen this video. It helps us regulate our circadian rhythm. Now, the circadian rhythm is all based on the temperature of your body and the light hitting your eyes. It lets the brain know there's a part that's actually known as the circadian pacemaker, and it interprets the time of day it is. So then, here's the issue. If you are on this bad boy, scrolling away at 10 p.m. at night, you are confusing the heck out of your brain. So your brain's like, oh, the sun is still up? Like what? I mean, if you turn down the brightness a lot, it doesn't have such a big impact. But if your light is bright and you're getting enough into the eyes for it to activate that part of the brain, you're confusing yourself. And if you also don't stick to that routine, circadian rhythm is called rhythm because it's a rhythm in your body system. So then when you're asleep, there's actually a cortisol spike. When your body drops to its lowest temperature, you get a cortisol spike and that wakes you up. So then you're like, oh, okay, it's time to wake up. That's when you naturally rise in the morning. And then the sunlight helps set that as well. Obviously, if you're a shift worker, it can be a little bit harder. But as a new mum for my own life, not touching the phone, even when I'm up breastfeeding, even when I'm up doing stuff with the little guy, if he doesn't want to fall asleep again at like 2 a.m., I do not touch my phone because I know that the light or any other lights around the house, I keep it dim, will keep me up, will mess with my rhythm, and I won't feel so fresh in the morning. It's so important and so simple. So I set boundaries for myself. I don't let the phone go inside the bedroom. It's very rare that you find it on my nightstand. And same with like lighting around the house. I prefer the blinds open so then when the sun rises, then I can get up naturally with that light. Tip number 3 is how you plate up. So eating in the right orders, your foods can really affect your energy. I have previously made a video reviewing this brilliant book by Jessie Inchauspy, Glucose Goddess Method. So she speaks about some hacks you can implement so then your glucose levels stay steady. Because if we eat sugary foods, for example, on an empty stomach, that's probably the worst you can do. You get a beautiful big glucose spike in your body, and there's science reasons for it. and then you crash back down. So there's a midline where you should be in that range near the midline of your glucose levels. But if you get this big spike, it has to also dip back down to return to normal. Okay? And it normally happens in about a 2-hour period. So if you find you've eaten a big carby meal or a sugary treat, then in about 2 hours you might have a really big crash and you feel slumped. If you're not aware that that's why that's happening, that's what's happening. So how to plate up properly for energy if you're not drinking coffee anymore. Biggest tip is to have a savory meal, so you're not putting those sugary foods in that empty stomach. So a savory meal is something salty with proteins and fats. So you can have lots of avocado, you can have some eggs, you can have some protein, meat-based proteins or even plant-based proteins, doesn't matter. But as long as they are high in protein and fats. Omelette is probably the best option that I make a lot these days. Another beautiful tip that she mentions in her book is to drink apple cider in the morning or just before you're prepping a meal, because that can also reduce the glucose spike and dip that you get. And then, like your grandma always said, eat your veggies, but the key thing here is to eat your veggies first. So even if you're having like a sandwich, it would be worth just eating the lettuce off it first to get that into your stomach, because it lines your stomach and then it actually causes a bit of a barrier with its great fibers of the vegetables that lets the sugary foods travel in slower. So then that release of sugar into your bloodstream, into your body, and that normally gives you the glucose spike, lessens because you're letting it in little by little by having that fiber in first. Tip number 4, last but not least, is battling decision fatigue. One of the ways that you can also feel like you're in a slump, it's too hard, you start to make the wrong decisions by eating maybe junk foods, you feel like you have no self-control, you're doing impulsive things, or you just want to shut down, you're overwhelmed. It can stem from this thing called decision fatigue. Now, the tips to get through this is to decrease the amount of decisions and the quality of the decisions that you have to make. So if you're in like a high-end stressful role at work, for example, and you're making really quick, fast decisions all the time, and they're actually quite important too, is there ways that you can limit all the decisions you're making in your private life? So by the time my partner gets home from a really hard day of work, he is like, I cannot decide what to have for dinner, you choose. Because he's fatigued about all the decisions he's made. Ways that I've found in my life to help with this is to automate things as much as I can. I usually do our grocery shop online, so then the list is already there. I don't have to walk through the store and then be like, do I want to get this or not, with every item that comes into my vision. Same thing with like what I'm wearing. Your closet might be full of too many choices of clothes that are overwhelming. So by the time you even just dress to get to work or go to conquer your day, you're already stressed because you have had too many choices on what to wear. So this is why minimalism took off, and it's such a big thing, and people are so passionate about it when they get into it, because they realize that they feel more at ease, they're more confident, because they have stopped battling this thing called decision fatigue. Like, they know what they're going to wear, it's right there, they've got limited choices, so it's easy. They have limited things cluttering their mind, even just in their vision of when they're at home looking at stuff. Keeping it simple and clean just puts your mind at ease as well. How else can you implement this? I'll give you some more examples. Even in your schedule, I have like themed days you've probably heard me talk about of what I'm going to do each day. So then I'm not getting up in the morning and I'm going, what will I do? Like, I know what I'm going to do. Today is filming day. So I'm going to get my ass on camera and film something for you guys to make your day better, to help you progress, to help you feel confident, and to have a beautiful and positive impact in this world. I used to be so indecisive and it frustrates the heck out of me. Even now, like with bigger decisions, I'm like, just make a decision, Jackie, and then make it right. Like, I just really dislike sitting on things for too long, because Yeah. There's one thing here actually, a lot of people that are indecisive, it is a choice. It's a choice to not make a decision. So you're still making a choice to not make the choice. Mindfuck that is. But what I was going to say here is that a lot of people are too much in their heads with this too, and that can fatigue them because they're just like, oh, so many thoughts bubbling around, and they don't get into their body. So mindful movement can help with this too, which is what I help with you. If you see the links below, there's some courses and one-on-one sessions that I offer to help you get into your body, to help you listen, have that sigh, feel everything drop off your shoulders, finally feel seen by yourself, because that's the higher intelligence talking to. Some people feel it as like a full body yes, where they're like, ooh, and everything tingles. Some people have it more like an instinctual hit, and it's just like this thought, and they're like, yes, that is the answer. And I hope you get some energy out of these tips, because then that way you don't need so much coffee and you're more sustained, you feel more ease, not that anxious anxiety and high level tension and jittery energy. You've got actual like groovy, happy, grounded energy. And that's what I want for you. So give it a like if you like the video, share it with a friend if you know that they might need it, and I'll see you next time. I'll be going through yeah.